Good morning and welcome to our tour of January 7th, 2013. And I am giving this tour on a break in the Alex Jones show because right now John Rappaport is on, which is pretty fascinating. So please take a seat on the Liberty Bus and we will get started on our tour. We do have a lot of stops to make today. We'll do our best to do them quickly, to save you time too, so you can listen to John Rappaport or whatever you're doing. Another pair of actors in Sandy Hook Hoax exposed, 100% busted. I submit this to you. You may examine it yourself and see if you are convinced. Woman defends home and children by shooting intruder 5 times. Now, we all know this happens, and it's nice reassurance to have this specific evidence that it does. And the idea of gun violence is really just rattling around. It's not going away. And I found this article very on point. Government violence, the missing link in the gun control debate. We need to look more closely at a culture that all too often glorifies guns and violence. But the reality is that there are video games. Our culture is permeated with this violence. And the first gun battle video games were produced for the U.S. military. And of course there's a game that the Army used to give away. I'm not sure if it still did. One of our sons played the game almost constantly and joined the Marines. So the propaganda in the game evidently worked. The U.S. government has employed this sort of mindset to their own benefit, and God bless the Marines and all the armed services. I'm not criticizing them. It's just this idea of government promoted violence that is, our whole culture. The people at the top are forcing this on us. By any measure, the U.S. is the largest sponsor of terror, and this is just a tragic thought, but if we're objective and we take a look at the facts, it proves out. Endless war is a feature, not a bug, of U.S. policy. And some of these blogs that I'm emphasizing today, they all just seem to fit together, or most of them just seem to fit together. We need to, in solving the issues that are confronting us as people of the U.S., we need to accept the fact that our government has, I want to say, gone rogue. It is not a force for good in the world at this point. Before anything positive can be done about that, we as Americans must be aware of that fact and begin to take a stand and say, this does not characterize who we are as a people, and make our government stop. Deciphering government thought crimes. These issues have been on my mind a lot. Over the weekend we watched the 1944 film Gaslight, and I've seen people in churches and corporations play these mind games in order to be strong on people. And it really, to a large extent, has become an accepted practice. And again, it comes from the top down, our government. Satanist General Aquino's Mind War in Progress. And this is a very extensive, in-depth article about mind wars, about mental and psychological manipulation. And it's long, but very well worth delving into. This is very important stuff. We need to just be very aware of this in our everyday lives, and as we deal with the government, as we try to bring restoration to our country and to the world. America's biggest killers. Okay, you get a break from the gun and warfare. Well, not the entire break from the gun information. Okay. Now, I have charts myself that are in my work with Dr. Noah that pertain to how many people die of heart attack, how many people die of cancer, etc. It goes into the accidents, into some of these things too. This breakdown is somewhat different. In the breakdown that I have seen in the past, healthcare and medicine are all lumped together, and they are the #1 killer. But we look at it this way. This is a little there aren't quite as many. Instead of heart attack, lung cancer, and breathing issues, you have all this lumped together in tobacco use. So there's that. And of course, tobacco is legal, while marijuana, which no one has ever been proven to die of its use, is illegal. Go figure. The #2 here is medical errors, and one here is accidental poisoning. I know for a fact that something like 100,000 people a year die of prescription drug use as it's prescribed, just because prescription drugs are terribly dangerous. But we won't dwell on that. Way down at the bottom here, firearm homicide. I even found that a little surprising. I was not aware that it was such an insignificant. I mean, these are all things that we can do things about, right? This is tobacco. This is medical errors. This is alcohol abuse. These are decisions that we can make. And here's this, just this small little bit, which kind of proves what I believe, that people are really not naturally all that violent. I believe that most people don't want to hurt anybody until they're forced in a corner or they have some kind of a psychological break, like mind control, right? I just want to mention Benjamin Fulford's update for the day, because I always enjoy reading Benjamin Fulford's weekly update. And he suggests that if we get rid of illegal drug trade and central banks, or if the governments provide their own currency, that will be a huge part of winning the battle against the cabal, since their money comes from banking and illegal drug trade. So yeah, let's do that. Let's legalize the natural stuff like marijuana, even cocaine and heroin. Let people learn how to use it without killing themselves. It's much better for you, as proven, than pharmaceutical products, and then we won't have this, what any drug trade will be regulated, taxed. Although I'm a libertarian, of course, I don't really want it regulated. But anyway, enough said, right? You have the right to know. This is a very interesting blog on removing the shackles about what has been going on behind the scenes. Believe it or not, and I include a lot of issues, a lot of ideas, a lot of blogs, a lot of articles. I am not absolutely saying that I believe all of them. I think that they're interesting and significant enough to submit to you for your consideration. And this is the website for the People's Trust. That is something else that has made a lot of appearances on removing the shackles recently. I want to finish up with something a little more lighthearted. Alex Jones to debate Piers Morgan live tonight on CNN. Now, I think that is probably going to be quite entertaining. The experience already is somewhat entertaining because Alex was detained and threatened with arrest at the Austin airport by the TSA. And he supposedly has video of that, which will appear at some time in the near future. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's tour. I hope I haven't worn you out or overwhelmed you. Trust in the Lord and don't be afraid because the dawn is coming. Take care.